Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now, cheers. Now today we're in Lanzarote. Now this wasn't planned, well, certainly wasn't my plans anyway, because I wanted a rest, because my birthday's in this month, this is the month of May, and my birthday's this month, and after coming back from Copenhagen, I just wanted a wee little period before my birthday. Unknown to me, my wife had completely different plans, so we're now in Lanzarote. Oh God! And yes, so I thought, right, I'll try and do some beer reviews. Yeah, slim pickings. But out of curiosity, we're actually in a Spanish resort where Spanish come to holiday in Lanzarote, so it's not the usual kind of British kind of holiday resort. So we used to basically have a place in Tenerife years ago and things like that, and had a few friends in there. And basically one of their friends is now over in Lanzarote and things like that, so he managed to organise this for getting us in here. So it's something a bit different, and it also kind of gives us an idea of how the Spanish holiday as well, which I'll be totally honest is a bit crazy. So today we're actually in this one, we're actually going to do two beers. So I've got this one, which is the San Miguel Selecta. There's a surprise. I think most of them are going to be lagers. I don't know, but this is apparently, and it's supposed to be 3 malts, so it says on it, you know. But also, what I've got is I've got one of the, because it's an all-inclusive resort, I've actually got one of the beers as well from the all-inclusive resort to see what that's like and compare them. But the main thing is this San Miguel Selecta, which is 3 malts and 6. I've got to admit, a lot of the lagers I've got is around about the 6.2%. This is 6.2%. I'm looking at one here on the other side of the table here, which will be coming up later on, and I thought that was just a normal beer. That's Mahu Maestra, but that's 7.5. So they might all be lagers, but I think some of them got a bit more dig to them than normal ones. And this looks okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. I poured this one myself, by the way. Don't ask how. Right, there's no spill in the back of this one. I'll probably put the prices down below. But I've not got a fucking bottle opener, so I've got to try and kind of do it with a spoon. But unfortunately, the spoon's all quite kind of bendy. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you can see Uri Geller spoons. Christ. Right, we'll pour this. We're nicking glasses at the bloody restaurant and everything, you know what I mean? But anyway, well, yeah, smells actually not too bad. You can see it's quite dark, because that's what the actual resort is selling as a lager, or providing as a lager, it's all inclusive. And there's your, there's malt in it, I can smell malt. Yeah, and a bit of grain, so there's a kind of slightly biscuity smell to it. Overall, actually smells not too bad. But the flight over here, oh my God, unbelievable. See, my wife and I got separated on the plane, and we were sitting in different areas. I was actually sitting down near the front, but she doesn't like sitting at the back, so we ended up having to swap. So I ended up in bloody seat 33 right up the back, which is fine, not a problem. Then before the flight takes off, up she comes, wandering up. Oh, I found the road's completely empty, you want to come down and join me? Aye, okay, fine, fair enough, I'll go down and join you. So I went down this plane to join her, and everything was fine, until basically the seatbelt signs came off. And unbeknownst to me, there was 2 very large women in the row behind. Alright, I'll be totally honest. Fat as fuck. I'm not going to mince my words. And one of them was fucking really unbelievably fat. It was ridiculously fat, you know. One of these ones where Greenpeace would basically turn up and try and drag her back in the water type of fatness, you know what I mean? Beached, fill in the blank. Unbelievable, seriously. And there's a couple of instances where she would use the seat to try and pull herself up. To kind of sort her stuff out and everything else. The problem is when they started in the wine. So they started in the wine, and yeah, fuck me, unbelievable. So they stiffened a couple of bottles of wine between them, and then the big one's like, I ate the big one, so need to go for a pee. Reaches out, grabs the bloody back of my seat, holds it, you know what I mean? And the bloody thing kind of gave way a bit, you know what I mean? And then there was a horrendous fucking crack, and I'm like off to one side here thinking, what the fuck? And she goes up, sorry about that. And off she goes waddling to the fucking toilet, and I'm sitting like this thinking, you broke my fucking seat, love. For fuck's sake, you broke my fucking seat, you know what I mean? Seriously. Yeah, she had. But she was so embarrassed about it that when she came back, she swapped with her mate, so then she's now behind the wife. Because what happened was like the wife at the window, spare seat, then me in the aisle. So this woman was sitting behind me, broke my fucking seat, now I sit behind the wife, because obviously I can't use that seat anymore to pull myself up because it'll probably completely fucking break. So her lesser fat friend is now sitting behind me. But she's now pulling the other fucking side, you know what I mean? Because she's up and down to the bloody toilet, nobody's business. And but if she's giving the fucking seat a hell of a yanking on, I'm thinking this seat fucking goes, seriously. It's fucking ridiculous, unbelievable. And across the aisle to me, we've got Coffin Joe. Oh fuck, he's a talent to pop a lung up before the fucking plane lands. Oh, for fuck's sake, he's hacking away like fuck to, and I'm sitting there thinking, fuck's sake, somebody gave him a fucking cigarette or something, for fuck's sake. Christ, he's driving at the fucking wall. Unbelievable. From the fucking back, and fucking him hacking a fucking lung up, and I'm thinking, I'm not enjoying this flight, really am. I mean, I'll be totally honest, it's like pine in beer. One of my pet hates is people coughing, including myself. You know, now, people cough because they've got an irritant, and I cough because I've got an irritant. But just the noise of me coughing annoys me. You know, I just don't like the noise of people coughing. It just fucking drives me up the wall. I just find it fucking irritating. You know? It's like fucking kids crying on a fucking plane. I mean, seriously. Chloroform. There's the answer. Anyway, shall we taste what this beer's like? Why not, eh? Wow. You're picking up the alcohol a bit on this one. So yeah. It does have slight kind of connotations of, I'm not going to say it's like a triple, but it just has some slight kind of flavour tones that remind me of a Belgian triple. And it's got that kind of softer mouthfeel as well. Overall, it's actually not too bad at 6.2%. But you can feel a bit of the alcohol in it. But yeah, it's not too bad. I don't know, but apparently it says Cerveza Tostada Extra. So there you go. And it's supposed to be a kind of Marzen type beer, as you can see. Marzen beer. I suppose, yeah, it's actually not too bad. But what's this one like? Smell wise? If you're wondering why they're all sold in plastic, well, not sold, but they're all provided in plastic cups because of you can't take glass near the pool case you slit some coughing bastard's throat with it, you know what I mean? No real much smell there. Smelling more fucking plastic than I'm smelling beer. I think this glass has been well fingered. Right. What does it taste like? It's lighter. There's a surprise. It tastes a bit underdeveloped. There's a bit of grain there, a bit of malt, but one of the things that just stand out is a bit of sweetness there. Maybe a little bit too much. And that's what's standing out to me, which tends to kind of give me the idea of that, how would I say it? Underdeveloped. So I don't think basically it's reached its full fermentation finish. I think it's basically been kind of pulled back early, which wouldn't surprise me. And I'd probably say, I don't know what the alcohol content is, but I would probably say it's around about 3, kind of maybe slightly under, but it feels that way. And just because that type of sweetness, it has that slight wartiness to it, which I can understand that because you make it a bit sweeter side. 1, less hops not required. 2, you don't have to finish full fermentation. So again, you get the alcohol down to a minimum, and it means you can produce it a lot quicker. And of course, if you've got a little bit of sweetness rather than bitterness, then it's probably going to appeal to more of a mass audience, you know, it being all inclusive, than it would be for proper beer connoisseurs. But mouthfeel, because it's draft, it's quite light on the mouthfeel as well. I would say the mouthfeel is probably more towards an ale. And overall, it's actually not too bad. It's got its limitations, but I think one of the major parts of the limitations is it's going to be meeting a certain price point. I mean, at the end of the day, and also, you don't want it too alcoholic anyway, because if people are necking this all bloody day, you don't want them getting themselves into trouble because they've been necking it all day, you know what I mean? So I think the alcohol's dialed back and the sweetness is ramped up. And again, the easiest way of doing that is just basically stop the fermentation early, you know, keep checking the OG, right, we're in about that area now, right, fine, boom, let's get it out, still enough sugar in there to keep it palatable, alcohol levels controlled to a minimum, and yeah, it's exactly what I would expect and exactly what I would basically be wanting myself if I was basically ordering this type of stuff and looking to kind of a beer to meet the kind of criteria I'd want for all-inclusive. So it's all right, you know. Would I drink it much of it? No. Saying that though, I'll be totally honest, I'm not drinking much beer anyway. Got a little bottle of whiskey on the way over. And we're only here for a couple of days, but 3 or 4 days, we're not here for long. So that's why, get a bottle of whiskey and that'll keep me and the wife kind of going for a couple of days and that'll be fine, you know, just have the odd wee whiskey. And yeah, and one of the good things is they've got proper soft drinks and things like that. They've got Fanta and Coke and everything else as part of the all-inclusive, so that makes the life a bit easier. I'm not a big fan of that stuff either, but at the end of the day, it's probably better than drinking this. But yeah, get back to this one though. It's actually not too bad. Let's break down the flavours. There is quite a bit of malt for this type of beer for a lager. Still a decent amount of malt at the front end. Nice bit of sweetness, nice bit of grain. Malt, like caramel. That's what you're kind of getting in the kind of malt front. Kind of slightly golden syrup tones and some light caramel tones. Moves out to the mid-tongue. And you are getting a little bit of hop there. A little bit of slight bitterness accents coming through there. Everything else is very much the same as the front of the mouth. Nothing really changes very much. But what I do notice is you are getting a little bit more bitterness. The bitterness accent just slightly ramp up at the back of the mouth, just as it's moving from the mid-tongue to the back of the mouth in the aftertaste. And yeah, it's actually quite nice. I mean, for this type of beer, there's a bit more to it. There was a bit more to it. What you also do notice is you do feel there's a little bit of the kind of alcohol coming through, even with all that malt. You do notice that there's a little bit of kind of slightly ethanol vapour to the beer a wee bit. But overall, it's actually not too bad. I'd recommend it over probably all the other crap. I mean, you go into the shops and things like that, or the pubs. It's all bloody Guinness, Carl and Heineken, all this kind of stuff. Dorado, all, you know what I mean? It's like, Jesus. And even if you go into the shops, oh, they've got bloody Carl and Foster's, oh, God. Budweiser, Heineken, they've got all the piss waters. A lot of ciders, by the way. Oh, Jesus, God. A lot of dry blackthorn. What's the other one that you've got on the fruits? I can't remember. Anyway, there's lots of kind of different ciders available as well. So yeah, they're definitely trying to kind of serve all manners of drinkers. But yeah, one thing I would say about Lanzarote is every shop seems to have a decent amount of kind of spirit offerings and a decent amount of wine. So even if you're over here and you don't really fancy the beer, which I can understand, because if I was here just on a holiday and maybe not doing reviews, then I wouldn't be buying any beer at all. I would probably buy wine or spirits. And one of the things is you don't have to wait, you know, get them on the flight, duty free, whatever. The prices are very good over here just now. In fact, it's actually cheaper than duty free in the UK, because what we were £14.99 in pounds for a litre of standard. I think it was Bells, because the wife only drinks Bells. But over here, the same bottle would cost you €14.99, which automatically makes it cheaper. You know, again, depending on your exchange rate and your banking fees. So yeah, it's kind of relative to that. So, and yeah, wine, well, it starts off about €2 or €3, eventually the sangria. But a good decent bottle of red or a bottle of rosé, €5 to €7, and you'll get a decent bottle. So yeah, there's plenty of options, you know. If you can't get decent beer, and you're not really going to get real ale over here, that's just the reality. You're kidding yourself on if you think you will. But anyway, out of 10, what would I give this? I think the price wise was roughly about, I think it was about €3 for it. It's actually not too bad. It's got a bit more to it, a bit more body and everything else. And overall, for a lager, it's very drinkable. And probably maybe a bit, I think it's just got a little bit too much. Maybe if you're out in the hot weather and that type of stuff, maybe this is more of a beer to have in the evenings. And I wouldn't really think tanking this during the day. I mean, I'm looking out there. Sun's streaming in there, by the way. You feel it burning my left testicle right now. And I'm actually wearing clothes underneath here, you know, just below the waist for a change. And yeah, I mean, I think this would be maybe a bit too much for, like, you know, during the day drinking. But if you fancy a wee beer after dinner or something like that, I think this would be actually quite nice. And would suit the occasion, as I say. But yeah, overall, it's actually not too bad. So on that basis, what would I give it? Now, I'm basically reviewing it as a lager. I'm not reviewing it as overall kind of beer thing. So I'm looking at overall lager. And, you know, you're talking about Foster's and Carling, they're down to about 2 or 3 and things like that. This is in the lager scale. I'm not even comparing it on the open beer scale. I always give lager a separate scale, because if I didn't, the majority of them wouldn't score anything at all. So I had to come up with a separate kind of category for the piss waters, you know what I mean? But this is a decent enough piss water, actually. A nice mouthfeel and everything else. So on the lager scale, And we're talking about Czech lagers are usually about kind of 6 or 7, you know, Czech Pilsners and things like that. And obviously Czech lagers as well, because not all Czech beers are actually Pilsners. I'm going to actually give this a 6. It's actually quite nice, and there's a nice bit of bitterness at the back end for this type of beer, nice mouthfeel, and overall, you know, there's a lot more to it than, say, a normal kind of holiday lager, you know, from that point of view. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 on the lager scale. What would I give this? It's not the worst. I've obviously stayed in a few all-inclusive resorts around the place, not just in Spain and things like that, but in other countries, Turkey, Egypt, Greece, Portugal. Try to think of other ones. Marrakesh. And I'll be totally honest, it's actually not too bad. Again, probably a bit sweeter than it needs to be, but I think we know why, as we discussed. But it's not the worst all-inclusive beer I've had. And there's actually some okay beer notes with it. It does feel a bit light, it does feel a bit sweet, but overall, it's actually not too bad. So on that basis, I would put it round about the kind of Foster's Carling mark. So I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 10. It's actually not too bad. I mean, if I was a lager drinker, if I was the type of person back home, I'm drinking kind of Foster's, Carling, all these type of things, Peroni and Beer Moretti and all this type of stuff, and I came here, I'd actually be quite happy with that, because it's not really that far away from these type of beers, you know what I mean? Flavour-wise and that type of stuff, there's actually a bit of flavour too. And fair play to them from that point of view, because at the end of the day, it's given away for basically cheapness, because obviously it's part of an inclusive package. So really it's almost given away for nothing. And let's be told, since we've been here, people started decking this at 10 o'clock and they haven't stopped, you know what I mean? So I'm going to give it a 3.5. I mean, if you're into these type of kind of lagers, then you'd be quite happy with this. So yeah. So 3.5 out of 10 for this. 6 out of 10 for this. So, thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye for now.